Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a different type of video. I want to update y'all on some shooting changes that have been made in my team over the past week that are going to make your experience shooting the ball and probably the way that you should play the game different. But these things haven't been that well publicized, especially the change that was made today. So I'm going to be explaining the changes that have been made and talking about how this affects the way that you play my team. So hopefully this will help y'all out and help y'all to win more games, play more efficient offense online, all that stuff. And it's something that I'm having to adjust to, and I know y'all are probably going to have to as well, because it does change up the game a bit, the tweaks that they've made to shooting. So before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 14,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, and I'd really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into it. So as we know, last week, and by last week, I mean, was it, I don't know, 5-6 days ago? I'm not entirely sure when it was, but the 2K patch came out. You could look for 2K patch notes. They'll be on here somewhere. People are really, really mad about the patch that came out. I honestly don't think it was that bad personally. I didn't totally hate the patch. I feel like it made some tweaks that were actually really, really useful. Here's the link for the patch, so you can look at this. It tweaks a lot of gameplay stuff, and I think on most of the stuff it tweaked, honestly, is pretty good. I know it messed with Pro-Am shooting a lot, and the way the Pro-Am shooting, for whatever reason, seems to be really thrown off, although I'm sure people are going to adjust and improve again. But I will say, shooting wise, it did make some changes. It says better shot coverage detection for open versus wide open, which means I think less shots are registering wide open. They're going to be more shots that are slightly more contested at that open spot. There was a buff to wide open shots as well as limitless range. So shooting those deeper threes and shooting the wide open catch and shoot type jump shot should be more rewarded, especially since you're going to get a little bit less of them with opens becoming a little bit more common. So that was the main shooting changes that were made. In the patch last week. Now, 2K, or Beluba, I should say, did come out and talk about the patch that was released last week. I don't know where the note is. He released, like, there was a, I quoted on my profile, actually. Let me see if I can find it. But there was something that he said, and there it is. Here we go. He posted this, I guess, in Reddit or something, where talking about the shooting changes that were made, which is they tweaked this so that now opens will register properly. They wide open got a little bit of a buff because there's less of them, and then deep threes were given a little bit of a buff, and limitless range was given a little bit of a buff. Those were the only things that they say were changed in the gameplay. But then they made another tweak today that adjusted shooting further, or yesterday, I should say, when y'all are seeing this video. And that is this first tweet right here, which says, if I can find it, shooting in 5v5 team control modes, which specifically means my team, is a little bit more challenging and skill-based with this morning's update. By that, they more mean that it is harder to green the more challenging shots. Wide open shooting feels like it's about the same in terms of when you get a wide open look, it feels still pretty darn easy to green, to be honest. I don't think greening when you're wide open is particularly hard, especially with players who have a good release. But contested shots became tougher. What that means is you're going to green less lightlies, you're going to green less reds. It's probably going to make you adjust the way that you play, especially with takeover. If you have a card that you are a shooter with, a guy you run your offense through, whoever your three hunting type cards are going to be a little bit less effective. You're not going to make as many whites either, is what I'm noticing. It feels like whites have also gone down, have not been seeing very many of those at all today, which I think is a huge W. I mean, it's a big tweak in terms of online gameplay. On online versus, shooting was too easy in terms of greening really bad shots. Like shots that are well defended were too easy to green. You will still green the occasional heavy. I greened a 60 in an unlimited game this afternoon. You're still going to green a heavy occasionally, but it's not going to happen nearly as often, and that is something that I'm cool with. Also, whites are not going to go in as often, which I also think is fine, but I don't think that they ruined shooting. I actually kind of like the way that it got tweaked today, and I feel like it made online better. Now, I will say that offline, the AI is already really, really good, especially on higher difficulties like Superstar and Hall of Fame. Making shooting even harder isn't great on offline difficulties because shooting is hard, especially if you're not a great player. Like people who play the game online a ton and are very good at the game and have high win percentages online are not going to struggle offline, even with the tweaks to shooting today. But people who are mainly offline players, not quite as good at the game, play the game for fun and are trying to grind these offline things and having a hard time with it, it's going to make things even harder for them, which I don't know how I feel about that for the offline player. I feel like that's a little bit unfortunate, I guess. And I do honestly think the AI defense is too strong in this game. That's one of the things that I would love to see them tweak, is AIs are not it's almost impossible to beat a good AI defender with high lateral quickness and clamps off the dribble. It's almost impossible to do. And we just don't have the cards with the SIGs to be able to even attempt to do that right now. And it makes AI defense really, really good. And in offline mode, it's really frustrating. Even in online modes, people will literally just sit on their center and let their guards play defense for them. And it is really annoying. If you know how to beat it online, it's beatable, but it's not nearly as weak as I think it should be. And I think it makes the game a lot harder for people. And it makes the CPU defense way too good. That's my biggest complaint right now. I don't hate the shooting, but I like this tweak. I think it makes the shooting a little bit more, defense, it makes a little bit more rewarding when you contest a shooter, even if that shooter has takeover. It's going to make them less likely to green a stupid shot if you get a good defensive possession and a good contest, which I'm a fan of. And then Les White's going in also, I think, makes the game a little bit more skill-based, which is obviously always something that I personally am a fan of. So with that tweak, that should make the game play a little bit differently. So I wanted to let y'all know that that is something that has happened, and especially this tweak today is definitely going to adjust the way the game has been played, and this one isn't being publicized the same way that the patch was. So with that being said, that is going to do it for this video. I really just wanted to drop a pretty short video on shooting. Let me know honestly where y'all are with shooting this year. How do y'all feel about shooting in MyTEAM? Y'all think it's too easy, too hard? What are y'all's biggest complaints with the gameplay? I'd honestly love to know, because I actually don't think the gameplay is that bad. I think the algorithm can be pretty bad sometimes and pretty frustrating, but I actually enjoy the gameplay, and I think this tweak, at least for online gameplay, makes the gameplay better. My biggest complaint by far is 100% the AI defense, and that's easily the thing that frustrates me the most. But I'd like to hear y'all's thoughts on what is y'all's least favorite part about the gameplay right now. If there's anything you really enjoy about the gameplay, like there are some certain pro play animations and things this year that feel more authentic and make the game more fun. I like that the mid-range is better and that you can use that at a higher level, and it's a more viable thing even against a sweat, which I am a fan of this year as well. And I think there's a lot of cool changes that 2K has implemented this year. I like MyTEAM. I do. I know a lot of people are complaining. I like it, and I think these patches are making things better. I'm hoping to see continued communication and continued improvements on the game, both gameplay style-wise, but especially content-wise as the year progresses. But I got to give 2K props when they think they're doing pretty good. I do think they're doing a pretty okay job right now, at least on the MyTEAM side of things. I know Park seems like it's falling apart a little bit, but I don't know. Regardless, hope y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.